Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alan with another broadcast of the Morlog Morning Digest. As always, I ask that you guys please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, but most importantly, please share the content, help the channel grow. I have a couple of options for donations in the description below, as well as a link to my BitChute channel, which will be getting populated with videos. I just purchased a PC a couple of days ago. I plan on starting live streams, really dedicating some time to this channel now that I have the tools to do so. It took a while to get there, but we're there. So anticipate quite a bit moving forward. I want to address the elections. Now, I've waited until now to do so because I didn't want to give a hot take, especially with tempers flaring. I'll be honest, I was not amused at what happened. However, we knew this was going to happen, and I predicted that this was going to happen as soon as they announced mail-in voting. And this has been part of the Democrat strategy all along. They knew that Biden would not win this election fair and square, okay? So why lose to Trump if you can avoid it? All right, now hear me out. If they ran Biden against Trump in a fair race, Trump would have won, and they know this. So why not steal the election and at least give yourself a chance of gaining power? Because if you steal the election and the media and Silicon Valley and all of these other people can pressure the Trump campaign into conceding, Joe Biden gets a free path to the presidency. Now, if Trump decides he's going to stand firm as he is and fight this legally, they have the alternative option of having the media in Silicon Valley accuse Donald Trump of staging a coup, which is the narrative that they're pushing now, and making it seem as though he stole the election from Joe Biden. So what they've initially done here is set up a no-win situation for Trump, where if Trump does win these legal victories and these legal battles continuously as he has been and gains that path to the presidency, the entire country is going to view, well, not the entire country. The majority of people that watch the mainstream media are going to be brainwashed into thinking that Trump stole it from Biden when it was the exact opposite. Now, we have to also address the direct hypocrisy that's being demonstrated by the Democrats here. Now, what happened as soon as Trump won in 2016? They instantly started pointing to anecdotal evidence that was unsubstantiated and bought and paid for by the DNC, the Russian narrative, that dossier. And they then used that into pushing 3.5 years of investigations that were predicated on absolutely no evidence at all. Now, if we look and compare that directly to the situation we are in, we have affidavits all over the country, over 300 of them. People testifying in front of grand juries. People not being allowed to monitor the voting stations. 134-year-old people voting in Michigan. 25,000 retired people from nursing homes simultaneously requesting mail-in ballots down to the same exact second. We have tangible, hard evidence here. And the Democrats don't want to even acknowledge the fact that this merits an investigation. They are calling us conspiracy theorists. They don't even want to give us 7 days to look into these allegations of fraud. And for a direct comparison, right, Al Gore did not concede to Bush until 37 days after the election back in 2004. Now, what does this mean? This means that they are setting up the narrative that Trump is stealing this as a coup, and in turn, Trump cannot win even if he obtains the presidency that he rightfully won on election day through the legal challenges that he's been launching, and he has been winning. We're going to get to that in a second. Instead, what they are doing is using the playbook from the tabletop games that were played in order to foresee what was going to happen after the election. And as I've told you, right, when they ran these scenarios, the Democrats would not concede, and even if they did win, right, the scenarios where they did win and there was contested states, they didn't give an inch at all, okay, in these scenarios. And all of these scenarios that they ran on Tabletop Games, when it came down to there being recounts, led to Trump winning. So, what does this mean? This means Biden and the Biden campaign know full well that he's not legitimate. They know full well that there's fraud, and they know full well that if it's contested, Trump is going to end up gaining the presidency, which is why they've done what they've done. Now let's talk about the legal battles that are being launched and being won by the Trump administration and his legal advisors. All right, big developments in Pennsylvania, okay? In Pennsylvania, they are no longer allowing ballots to be cast that were postmarked after November 3rd. And that is a huge win because it sets a precedent nationwide. Okay? Because now if it goes in front of the Supreme Court in a different state about backdating or, accepting votes after the 3rd, the lawyers arguing for Trump can point and say the federal judge in Pennsylvania stated that this isn't an acceptable practice. And the Supreme Court will more than likely rule in that favor because there's precedent. All right, in Michigan, and this is big too, the state Senate, which is controlled by Republicans, has demanded that there be a 100% audit statewide, okay? There's districts where more than 100% of the precinct voted. Macomb County, and this happened back in 2016 as well. There was massive voter fraud in that county, as a county I actually used to live in. Okay, with that being said, there is definitely going to be fraud detected there. How many ballots are going to get thrown out because of non-matching signatures, etc., etc., etc.? Michigan could very well flip for Trump, and even if it doesn't, it sets up a 12th Amendment issue via a contested election. Therefore, it has to go in front of the Supreme Court anyway. Wisconsin is within recount territory. There will be a recount in Wisconsin, and if you ask me, with all the anomalies with this mail-in voting and the fact that Democrats outpace mail-in voting against Republicans at a rate of a statistical anomaly, meaning that it cannot happen statistically. That means Wisconsin could very easily flip for Trump. Very big win there too. Now, we have something developing in Arizona as well. Arizona was called by Fox News way earlier than it should have been, right? If you're watching Fox News, turn it off. They are not on your side. They're bought and paid for disinformation. 100% in this election proved it. Arizona will end up going to a recount as well, in my opinion. It is within that territory, and if it does go to a recount, again, the same scenario that's going to play out in Michigan, the same scenario that's going to play out in Wisconsin. I really think Arizona will flip red if there is a recount. Georgia is already they've already stated that there'll be a recount in Georgia. It's going to be a hand ballot recount. Georgia's a red state. Georgia will flip for Donald Trump. Now, here's the big one that puts the capstone on all of this, paving the way to Trump being able to gain his presidency back. And that is the fact that the Federal Election Commission chairman has sided with Donald Trump and stated that voter fraud happened on a massive level. All in all, there is no way around this reaching the Supreme Court. And the reason I say this is because there is not a single federal judge that has jurisdiction over enough of these states where they themselves can rule on it, because it's a 12th Amendment issue. The 12th Amendment states if there is a contested election, then it must go before the Supreme Court in order to resolve all disputes. It will end up in front of the Supreme Court. And what terrifies the Democrats is that Donald Trump just put Amy Coney Barrett on the bench, and she will side with him on this one. And they know for a fact Clarence Thomas is not going to allow Joe Biden to become president of the United States. It's just not going to happen. And what people fail to realize here is, even if these states do end up staying Joe Biden states, the Electoral College can still decide to vote for Trump if they want to. A lot of these states that are red, predominantly red, or have senates that are controlled by Republicans could very well change their delegations when it comes to sending them to the Electoral College and telling them that you need to make a non-conscientious vote and vote for Trump anyway. Once again, creating a 12th Amendment issue via a contested election. Anybody that thinks this is over has no idea what they are talking about. They just don't. If I've learned anything from 2020, it's that nobody is going to be able to put their finger on the pulse of anything that's going to happen. All right? I'm telling you right now, the fat lady hasn't sung. Donald Trump keeps winning these legal victories, and they are skating under the radar of the Democrats, of the people that voted for Joe Biden. And the reason is because the media wants to make it seem like this came out of nowhere. So when it hits people, it smacks them in the face, and they feel as though they've had something stolen from them. They want people to become irate. And I know this because Joe Biden got on stage and started asking his donors for $30 million to fight these legal battles. Joe Biden does not need the help of Fortune 500 companies to wage the legal battle about these contested states. In turn, all he's doing is making his pundits and the people that voted for him become emotionally invested in the outcome of these legal battles. That way, when he loses, he can say that Donald Trump staged a coup, and it will start a civil war culturally. There were riots on the streets even though Biden won. What's going to happen if the Supreme Court rules in Donald Trump's favor? When it comes to the middle of December, when it comes to solidifying and certifying this election, I suggest you stay home. I suggest you don't go taking any vacations in the middle of December. Mark my words, the only thing that can be predicted at this point is the middle of December is going to be chaotic. That, and any of you still on the Q train, need to hop the hell off of it and realize that it was a psyop from day one. And I apologize for giving it any credence at all, because it's very apparent now that the whole elemental P, QRS, TUV bullshit is just that. I hope that this information is letting you guys have a little bit better of a picture as to what's actually going on right now, because I'm sure a lot of you, before watching this video, had it in your head that Joe Biden is your president-elect. Joe Biden isn't the president-elect. They haven't certified anything. The office of the president-elect doesn't even exist in reality. It's nothing more than a ploy to make people feel invested into Joe Biden being the president, so that way when Donald Trump secures the victory that he rightfully won, they can say that he staged a coup. And that is exactly why you see China congratulating him. It's exactly why you see all these other countries worldwide congratulating Biden, because they have a vested interest in him stealing this election. Mexico are the only ones playing it safe, right, and not congratulating Joe Biden. And that is because they do not want to be on Trump's shit list when he gets reinstated as president on January 21st. God bless and have a great day. Mind you, this is all tentative and speculation as far as future events, but all of the facts that I presented are sound, solid, true, God bless, and I will catch you guys in a video very soon. Take care of yourselves and your family. It is all you have.